All right, everybody, quick update on the 51-3100 build. It's been several weeks since the last video that we made. Well, you know, we're making pretty good progress. We've got about 70, 80 hours into it so far. And so what we've got here is the 1951 Chevy 3100. Came in to do a 350 with a turbo 350 and a new rear end. If you all remember, this had the torque tube rear end. So you can't really separate the rear end from the drive shaft all that well. So we just decided, let's go ahead and go with something a little more updated and then something that we can change the gears in if we need to. So a customer brought us a rear end out of a 1957 Bel Air. He picked up on a really sweet deal, a 75 Corvette frame with a small block 350 and a turbo 400 transmission. We were about to go put it in. Customer decided he wanted a cam. We went to put the cam in and the cam bearings were absolutely smoked, garbage. We pulled the cylinder heads and there was a crack in the valve. So kind of had to go back to the drawing board with the customer. We ended up getting him a nice little crate engine from ATK. Nothing too crazy, about 375 pound-feet of torque, 300 horsepower range. Just something that's not going to require a whole lot of drivetrain mods. But it's got a nice hydraulic roller cam. It's got nice Brawler 675 CFM carburetor, distributor, all that stuff. Basically ready to drop in. It was at a great price. Seems like a great engine. So that's where we're going. Come on over here and show you a little bit of the work we did. So we did a couple notches in the frames here for the power steering pump and the mechanical fuel pump. We notched the front here. Now this stuff you don't have to do, but we chose to do it with the customer's consent to give him a little bit more room because he wants to be able to work on the car himself. And it was looking like you weren't going to be able to easily remove the fuel pump. You weren't going to get the full range of adjustability out of the power steering. So we made some plates, made some notches, welded them in, smoothed them out. We did add a power steering box out of a, I believe, 60 to 66 GMC truck. So that mounts right there. And then we had to change a little bit of the steering geometry. We did a power disc brake upgrade. We've got a 73 to 87 range GMC power brake booster going in with a custom made pedal box that we made for it. Came out pretty nice. So you guys will see that when it goes back in. That took a little bit of time, a little bit of engineering to get it all fitted up right. We had to reinforce the firewall. If y'all don't know this, the original brake pedal for this, the master and all that stuff is actually under the floorboards. It's kind of already hot rodded out, but it makes it difficult to do kind of, you know, performance mods and stuff. So Josh is holding up the brake pedal box that we made for it. And that's kind of what we went with. Did it out of some nice beefy steel. And then we put it right in the location where we wanted it. So we drew that, I drew that up in CAD. And then we cut that all out and bent it, welded it, and made that all in-house. And we're pretty happy with how it came out. It delivers a perfect 4.5 to 1 brake pedal ratio, which is ideal for this setup. We went through, we did all the math, we did all the geometry, and we're really excited. It should have a perfect pedal throw and a great pedal feel. So yeah, little update. You know, we patched some holes in the firewall and all that stuff. We still got a little bit of work to do. We've got some vanity plates that might go on to cover the holes in the top, but we kind of just did the bottom and the floorboard to keep any water intrusion out, kind of working within the customer's budget and whatnot, not spending a whole lot on aesthetics, more on functionality. So now we've got the self-etching primer laid down. It's our tubular cross member. We have another tubular cross member back there for the transmission. But really, so far, pretty happy with the way everything's coming out. This got a little bit of project, you know, sort of scope creep in the beginning of it. It initially came in for like a really simple kind of thing, and then we got talking and working with the customer, and it kind of turned into a few other things. So we're going to hold what we got now and kind of just finish it out. That way we can stay within the customer's budget. But overall, I think this is going to be a really sweet ride. It's got an eidetic column. I mean, it's got all the mods that we just listed. It's going to have a really nice stance. We've got a custom true dual exhaust that we made for it. We're going to do some nice side exit tips. But yeah, this is pretty much it. This is what we've been working on. Like I said, about 70 hours into it now. We'll probably wrap up around 120 hours total for basically a full drivetrain modification. We had to rebuild all of the leaf springs, which was a bear. They had never been changed. They were basically fused inside of the shackles and stuff like that. So there was a lot of air hammers, a lot of torches, a lot of penetrating oil, trying to get out the old bronze bushings and then press in some new ones. But now the truck should drive straight, should drive smooth. One thing we also had to do is when doing the modification, it's popular. This is a popular modification. This is not something that we came up with, adding that steering box right here. If you look over here, you've got the shock mount. So we had to relocate the shock mount to the rear and actually flip it back here, and that way it would clear the box and everything. So it's a little bit different of a suspension setup, but we're not reinventing any wheels here. This is pretty standard for these trucks. It's kind of what has to happen in order to give them that more updated approach. But hopefully here in the next couple weeks, this thing will be done, be out of here, and the customer can drive and enjoy it. Sitting on some vet wheels right now, which is kind of appropriate since it's got a, well, it was gonna have a Corvette drivetrain in it, but now it's just a Corvette transmission, Bel Air rear end, and like a 90s Silverado engine. You got a square body brake booster. You've got aftermarket calipers that are probably off of a Camaro. So it's a bit of a hodgepodge, but yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. Yeah, hopefully we'll have a nice update for you guys pretty soon. Maybe we'll be out test firing this engine, and I'd like to see it driving in under a month. If I'm being honest with you, I'd like to see it out of here. But you know, hit us with your questions if you guys have anything. These are really popular cars to modify right now, and the best thing you can do is add a little more engine so that your top speed isn't 52 miles per hour. You don't have to go wild with it. But one thing that we like that this customer is adamant about is keeping the straight axle. A lot of guys just lop them off and put on a Mustang 2 front, you know, tubular cross member and all this stuff. And that's neat, don't get me wrong. But I also think it's pretty cool that we're just sticking with an old school truck. Sticking with the straight axle, sticking with the overall appearance. It's not quite a sleeper because it's not gonna be like a real nasty street machine, but it's gonna look totally stock going down the road until you see it hit 75 miles an hour and cruise. So if y'all have any questions on how we did any of this stuff, just feel free to hit us up in the comments. We'll walk you through it.